Hello and welcome back to another edition of So You're Interested In, the show where I listen to the bad music so you can only listen to the good music. I really need a better catchphrase than that. This week on So You're Interested In, we will be looking at the hip-hop collective from Flagstaff, Arizona, better known as Injury Reserve. Since 2015, Injury Reserve has released 2 mixtapes, 1 EP, and 1 full-length debut album. The group consists of 3 members, with Steppa J. Groggs and Richie with a T handling the lyrics and vocal performances, while Parker Corey produces all of their beats. They've been described as experimental hip-hop, and throughout the years, they've definitely dabbled in all types of forms of hip-hop since their inception. So let's get straight into some of the projects or albums that you should be listening to if you want to get into Injury Reserve. Their second mixtape, Floss, definitely deserves a listen. It's their most cohesive project to date in terms of sonic similarities. And the first track you need to listen to is Oh Shit. Oh Shit features this crazy beat that balances these harsh percussions with this delicate piano chord. Meanwhile, Richie and Groggs go off, and their vocal performance is only emphasized by this bouncing reverb in the background. After Oh Shit, you need to lend your ear to S on Your Chest. This is easily one of the best tracks Injury Reserved has ever dropped. It's probably my favorite beat that Parker has ever done. Even though it is slightly lo-fi, he's able to bring in these other sounds that just really fill out the entire song. And the bars that Richie and Groggs drop are some of their most braggadocious as they're flexing on everybody about what they've achieved. And the final track you should be listening to off of Floss is What's Goody featuring Cakes to Killa. It's a fast-paced banger featuring these futuristic blips and these deep synths that lunge the track into ignition. Richie specifically shines on this track as his verse at the very end of the song is one of his best despite its short length. But Floss in and of itself just deserves a listen because it is riddled with fantastic songs that Injury Reserve has made. Their debut full-length LP should be next on your Injury Reserve list. It runs the gamut production-wise, featuring lo-fi aesthetics and these meticulous and glossy beats. Jawbreaker featuring Rico Nasty and Proteins is a great example of this and is also a must-listen off of this album. While it doesn't follow much in hip-hop tradition, it weaves an interlude in with all of this social commentary of these fake fashion people on Instagram and self-empowerment. The beat is sparse and pushed to the background until the end of the track when its full potential is finally released. It's a strange cut for sure, but it's one that is definitely worth listening to. Jailbreak the Tesla featuring Amine is another fantastic cut off this record. This song shows off Parker's impeccable production skills, and all 3 of the rappers on this track lay down really solid verses, each of them talking about the Teslas or just hope for the future in general. Lastly, Gravy and Biscuits is another really strong song off of this album. The beat feels like it could have just been done as a gimmick in the late 80s or early 90s, but it actually fits really well on this track. The chorus feels almost comical with Richie and Groggs harmonizing over this sing-songy statement that everything is good and gravy and biscuits. Not as hard-hitting as some of the other Injury Reserve tracks, but it's a really fun one to listen to. So that does it for the 2 albums to listen to with Injury Reserve. Let's move on to some of the tracks. So in terms of tracks, the first one that I think you should be listening to is North Pole, which comes off of their 2017 EP Drive It Like It's Stolen. Personally, this is my favorite Injury Reserve track to date. This song mostly just deals with death and moving forward on with your life. It's definitely one of their saddest and most depressing songs. The production is lo-fi in nature and it feels almost hobbled together at the last minute, but in that way it almost completely complements the track. You need to hear this if you want to get into the more sad stuff that Injury Reserve has to offer. Another must-hear track from Injury Reserve is Whatever Dude off of their debut mixtape Live from the Dentist Office. This is a basic version of what Injury Reserve would become in the future, showing glimpses of their brilliance. Catchy chorus and a laid-back beat brings this song to the forefront of the crew's discography. Richie and Groggs also laid down some great verses about being independent and not worrying about what other people think. An early jam from the Flagstaff boys for sure. Last but not least, 3-Man Weave, the last song off of their debut album, definitely deserves a listen because it is a stellar victory lap. This song talks about nostalgia from the past, but also looking forward and being excited about what this world has to offer in the near future. It's honestly the perfect track to close out their debut album. The horns and the instrumental are god tier, evoking past sentiments of freedom of youth and into each and every one of their listeners. This song feels like taking off my teenage years and just stuffing them together in one nostalgia-induced track. Injury Reserve are one of the most interesting groups to emerge in the past couple of years, and are a must-listen if you're looking for a new edge in the world full of emo and pop rap. All of the albums and tracks that I've mentioned in this will be linked below in the description box. Make sure to check them out, but also make sure to check out some of the other So You're Interested in videos that I have on this channel. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more videos. I would truly, truly appreciate it, and I will catch you next time. Peace!